What's happening everyone, my name is Alex and welcome back. In today's video we are checking out one of the latest budget-friendly phones from Umidigi called the A9 Pro. So in many ways this is an entry-level device that gets decent specs for its price because we always have to take into consideration the price of a device. So this phone is powered by the Mediatek P60 that's paired with 6 GB of RAM and the phone runs Android 10. For those of you that like benchmark scores, this device gets an Antutu score of just under 130,000, so you already know that you're not looking at the fastest phone out there. Now, to my surprise, the phone does perform much better than that Antutu score that we got, because when you typically get a score that low, you expect the phone not to do that great. But to this one, I have to say that it does better than that score. So great software optimization on this device, not to mention the launcher is very light, so it's somewhat close to stock Android, so there isn't much holding the phone back. We also don't get a bunch of useless apps that come pre-installed, so you just get some Google apps and that's about it. So I tried a variety of apps on it, from Chrome to Facebook and even Call of Duty Mobile, and I have to say that every single app that I tried on it does perform much better than I was expecting. Of course, you may have to wait a second longer to open an app compared to other more expensive devices, but once an app opens, scrolling up and down through your feed does seem to work very good and without too much lag. I did notice a bit of lag for Facebook, but overall pretty impressive for a phone this affordable. Now, for a super quick unboxing, the phone comes in a plain looking box, nothing on the box except on the back where you can see all the specifications, so that's definitely helpful. Inside the box you're gonna find the user manual that nobody will ever read. We have the power adapter, the USB-C cable, and we also have a case for the phone, so definitely nice seeing that we actually find a case in the phone. With a lot of phones we don't actually have cases. The phone itself doesn't look bad by any means, but I find it a bit on the heavier side, mostly compared to other similar sized phones, and that probably has to do with the metallic frame that we have all around the device. So on the front and on the back we also have glass, and that gives it a more premium look and feel, I would say. On the left hand side here we have the SIM card slot, and this device can take 2 SIM cards and an SD card at the same time. This phone comes with 64 gigs of internal storage, so I guess that SD card will come in handy when you fill up that 64 gigs of internal storage. And talking about SIM cards, I've also noticed that this phone has a lot of bands available, and definitely more bands than a lot of other cheaper devices that I've tried in the past. So you shouldn't have any issues using this device even in the US. Just below that SIM card tray slot we also have a customizable button, so you can set that button to open any application that you want. So if you want the camera app to open, you can. If you want the Google Assistant, you can also change that. At the bottom of the device we have a 3.5mm audio jack, we have the USB-C cable and the speaker. Unfortunately this is the only speaker, so with some phones I've seen a speaker at the bottom and one at the top. Well, with this device we only get one speaker, and the speaker is so and so, I'm gonna say. And this is a quick example so you can hear how the speaker sounds. Now moving back to our device, on the right hand side here we have the power button and the volume keys. The buttons are also made out of metal and they are nice and clicky. And on the front here we have a 6.3 inches screen that has a 1080p resolution. This is also an IPS panel that has pretty decent colors and good viewing angles. I wish the screen would have got a tiny bit brighter, but overall this is still a great looking screen for such an affordable device. And moving to the back of the device, here we have the fingerprint scanner. This may not be the fastest fingerprint scanner, however it does work fairly decent taking into consideration the price. I did notice that sometimes I do have to touch the fingerprint scanner a couple of times for it to register. So not the fastest fingerprint scanner. And then we have a variety of cameras. We have the main camera, we have an ultra-wide lens, we have another macro camera, we have another camera that's used for portrait mode pictures, and lastly, something that I haven't actually seen on any other phone before, we have an infrared thermometer. This works, but you do have to be pretty close to your subject. So you have to be about this close to your subject with that little thermometer so it can actually measure the temperature. So in these crazy times that we live, that could come in handy, of course. If you have a little kid, you want to take its temperature, you can definitely do it with this device. And that thermometer does seem to be fairly accurate as well. The cameras on it are also pretty decent taking into consideration the price, but don't imagine for a second that you're gonna be taking some award-winning pictures. But yes, if you do have plenty of light, the main camera does seem to do pretty good. Even the portrait mode pictures look great with great edge detection around the subject. So once again, for the price of the device, I feel that the cameras are decent. Now, I wish they would have got rid of that macro lens because nobody's ever gonna use that macro lens for anything, and they would have invested a bit more in the main lens. That is my only suggestion to the manufacturer for the future. Because those macro lenses aren't that useful, but everyone is using those main lenses and we all want better pictures. For video, the device can only do 1080p, that's the maximum recording resolution, and unfortunately at that resolution we don't have any type of image stabilization. So if you're not walking super steady or if your hands are shaky, your video will look somewhat shaky as well. So I kind of wish the device would have had image stabilization for those 1080p recordings. And of course, this was a quick example of a recording that I've done the other day. Inside it, we also have a 4150 mAh battery, and when we pair that with that Mediatek Helio P60, which is somewhat power efficient, you can typically get between 7 and 9 hours of screen time, depending how you use the phone, of course, because if you're gonna play a bunch of games, you're definitely not gonna get those 9 hours. Your screen on time will probably be around 4 to 5 hours, but if you watch a lot of videos, for example, then you can easily get 9 hours. As for charging this device, that's done in about 2 hours and 10 minutes from 0 to 100. The A9 Pro also supports 4G connectivity, dual band Wi-Fi, but unfortunately we don't seem to have an NFC chip, and that means that you're not going to be able to make payments with this device. I've also tried the GPS unit inside it, and it takes about 3 to 5 seconds to find your location, but once your location is found, it doesn't seem to lose it. And we also have a variety of sensors available, so much more than I was actually expecting. So to quickly conclude this video, for the price, because I did see this phone for about $120 maybe 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, for the price this is not a bad phone by any means. It has decent specs, it works really good for the price, decent cameras, great battery life, well, decent battery life I'm gonna say. So for the price it's not a bad phone, but in a world where we can buy a bunch of Xiaomi phones for between $120 to $180, I feel that you're better off buying a Xiaomi phone over this one. Not because this is a bad phone, because it's not, but I feel that with the Xiaomi phone, the phone is gonna be more reliable. The brand has better quality control and so on. With a phone like this, Umidigi, you don't know how long the phone will work, but for the price, the phone isn't bad. Alright guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did like it, don't forget to press that like button, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.